Hello, and welcome to this short video for session 8 of Missional Ecclesiology, where we are discussing the fourth mark of the Church in relation to mission. And the fourth mark is the one which most obviously is concerned with mission, the Church as apostolic, meaning sent. So it's the same as the Latin root of the word mission, the Latin being mittere, to be sent. So the apostolic church is the church being sent, the missional church, on a mission or purposeful. Hopefully, though, we've seen that the other marks of the church are concerned with mission too. The oneness of the church reflects the church's call to witness to God's reconciling work in all creation and to work for the unity which is God's gift, as yet unrealized. The Catholicity of the church reflects the church's call to be all-embracing, since God is not just the God of us or one group of people, but the God of all, embracing the breadths of diversity in all its richness, awkwardness, and potential for mutual learning. And the holiness of the church, though, reminds us that the church is called to be distinctive, so even as it is all-embracing, aiming to bind us all together in creative unity, it also is to be a light, called to be holy, not separated from the world though, but engaged in it, as Jesus the Holy One was engaged in it vulnerably. Which leads us to apostolicity, the particular calling to get our hands dirty in faithfulness to Christ, the friend of tax collectors and sinners, who parties with the wrong kind of people, who transgresses boundaries in order to be with people, and moves on to be with other people, constantly upsetting the settledness of any tribe and leading us to new ventures, new spaces, new relationships. That's the sermon for today. Finished, sort of. But I want us to think about a particular question raised by this, the dynamic which seems to be at the heart of it. The sense that the church, presuming to be like Jesus, may consider itself always to be the agent bringing the change. To be sent is to seize the initiative, to take the initiative, because we're called to do so, and to make the impact, because we believe we're the ones with something to bring. To be sent fosters in us the impression that mission is about what we do, about the energy flowing from us to them. So scentness is all very well. It can make us feel good, the idea that we've got an important job to do. But is it the whole story? In fact, does scentness have to work like that? We've touched on this issue before in relation to holiness and the idea of hospitality, blurring the boundaries between insiders and outsiders and allowing space for the church to receive from others as well as giving. But I want us to explore a particular version of it with you, or with reference to two books which argue the same sort of thing, but in slightly different language. The more recent one is by Barrett and Harley, and it's called Being Interrupted. They suggest that there are three kinds of economy in the life of the church, or affecting how the church understands its identity and what its values are, where an economy is to do with the flow of what's valuable in one direction or another. The first economy is counting in, where a church focuses on measuring its faithfulness in terms of the numbers of people coming in, and allied with that, the amount of money coming in. It's not intrinsically wrong to think about mission in terms of this sort of growth, where more people get to know the goodness of the gospel and of Christian community, and the church is big enough to be able to have an impact on the world around it. But is this economy the whole truth? The second economy is giving out, focusing on the extent to which the church gives out of its abundance, its service to others, its impact on the world around it, its generosity, its demonstration of love. Again, not intrinsically wrong, not at all, because the church is called, it is sent to be salt and light in the world, to bring good news, to be an agent of justice and peace, to witness to God's holiness. But is this economy of giving out the whole truth? Barrett and Harley want us to affirm a third economy, being interrupted, where the church's other flows are interrupted through interaction with the world. Sure, the church still affirms that it has good news, it has gifts to give, but it also recognises that others have gifts to share. It allows itself to be interrupted by the community around it. It restrains its own desire to be the one always taking the initiative and doing good, encouraging space where others bring their gifts. It's associated with asset-based community development, so that instead of focusing on the deficits in the world around us, the things that need us to come and change them, we identify and affirm the assets, the things where there is already strength or goodness or value. In the book, they contrast the planting model of mission, which presumes to bring goodness into the soil around us, with a wilding model, where the natural features of an environment are allowed to flourish on their own terms, with all the risk that that entails. Or another version of this can be found in my 2010 book based on my PhD called Christ and the Other. Though I didn't develop it quite as much as a model of mission there, though I certainly tried to point towards it. But instead of using the language of being interrupted, I spoke about being shaken open. So where Barrett and Harley talk of Jesus being interrupted by women or by children, I suggested he was shaken open, and that this gives us a basis for how the church should be too, not always the ones taking the initiative, but allowing others to impact on us as well. And by others, I mean others within our own tradition, others beyond our tradition, and those who are invisible to us, the socio-politically marginalised in various ways. In this way, coming back to the apostolic calling of the church, we can talk about the church being sent, not only in terms of going out there, taking the lead, bringing the energy, making a difference, but also the church being sent to model something as well, a community of faith, which doesn't presume to have all the answers, which anticipates that it will be surprised by the gifts of others, intentionally giving that permission to itself to affirm that others have things to offer, that their stories, their insights, their truths, their giftedness are worthy of recognition and our love. To be sent is to know ourselves as fragile, in need of others who also witness to God's abundant generosity, while also knowing ourselves as having good news to share and demonstrate. When we meet together, we can think of examples of this, we can see how well it resonates with you, or challenges us at all. And we can relate this to the apostolicity of the church more generally. And you can interrupt me, and I'll try to be grateful for it.